Welcome back to another episode of Eric's Camping Adventures. We're going to go on another search today looking for some beautiful places. Today we are headed over to the Ozarks National Forest in western Arkansas, and we're going to check out the beautiful fall colors even though it's raining. We traveled up some muddy National Forest roads, but it was just surface mud. They were well groomed and well cared for. We got good traction. Made our equipment muddy, but it was actually kind of fun. We arrived at the campground at White Rock Mountain Recreation Area, and we set up pretty quickly. We really didn't get a break in the rain until after we set up. Today we are camping in the rain at White Rock Mountain, and we're just going to talk about a few things that you might need to go camping in the rain. One of those is a good canopy. We brought Gracie with us today. She's getting older. She doesn't move around much, so great way to camp in the rain with a dog that doesn't move around much. But number two, don't camp in the rain unless your wife wants you to. We saw some very tempting dispersed campsites on the way up to White Rock Mountain on Bowles Gap Road, but we decided not to. We kept our reservation. There were some other people down by Hurricane Creek, and we sort of looked envious at their spot, but we just kept going to our campsite. We actually know this area pretty well. We've been hiking it with the kids since they were little. We actually stayed at some cabins and went by them on the way here today. And about a year ago, my wife and I stayed up here, and it was pretty cold and rainy, and we just decided to pack up and leave. But today it was intentional, and camping in the rain is definitely possible. You can do it. Just got to have the right equipment. A couple of things you definitely need to think about having when you're camping in the rain is some base layers, and I brought 2 base layers with me just in case I got one wet, and still had a way to warm up and not go into hypothermia. It's gonna be down in the 40s tonight, but being wet and in the 40s is totally different than being dry and in the 40s. So we're gonna have a little fun. The last time we came up here, it was a complete disaster because it was supposed to stop raining when we got here. Today, we knew it was gonna rain, so we planned for that, and we're pretty ready for it. But now it's stopping raining, so I'm actually thinking of launching the drone and see if I can get up above the clouds and take a look around this mountainous part of Arkansas. By the time we got set up and the drone launched through the clearing, it was actually time to start cooking some dinner. And we had some steak and green beans on the menu tonight. And my wife took a chance cooking on the Camp Chef propane fire pit with my new Dutch oven. I need to lower it down at all. We haven't taken Gracie on an adventure for a while. Her hips are getting pretty bad, and she's been a little harder to take along, so not continent all the time while we're riding down the road, so it just makes it a little more difficult, but we decided she could make this adventure because it's probably too muddy and slippery to hike, so there she is. That's a little Debbie oatmeal cream pie warming up on the fire. We enjoyed a nice evening by the fire with our puppy dog, taking in and catching up on some news and social media. There was good reception on top of the mountain. And another thing to keep in mind when you are camping in the cold and the rain is your carbohydrate intake. It actually needs to increase a little bit so that you can generate heat to stay warm. You can probably hear the raindrops on the roof of the tent. We're getting ready to go to bed here. We'll see you in the morning. Gracie was moving pretty good in the morning, so we decided to take her for a little walk down towards the general store and see how she did and see if we could make it out to the observation point at White Rock Mountain. It was pretty foggy. The fog had a little bit of an eerie feel to it as we explored around the observation point, and you couldn't see far off into the distance, but you could still peek through the clouds and tell the height and still see the beauty of the fall colors of the trees. Gracie was still looking pretty happy walking around the observation point, but we figured we shouldn't press our luck, and we headed back to our campsite, and I decided to try to capture the sunrise through all the cloud cover. I've never seen anything like this, and I didn't really realize what I had captured until after I watched the video on my tablet. The beauty of the autumn colors and the cloud cover and the fog on White Rock Mountain was definitely worth being prepared to camp in the rain. Whenever there are two people camping together, there is definitely more than one idea about how you set up and break down, but My wife and I, over the last 29 years, have learned how to anticipate each other and anticipate what each other is thinking, and it goes pretty smooth. We make a good team. Well, I am glad you joined us for our adventure at White Rock Mountain in the rain. I hope you learned a few things about camping in the rain. And next time, I'm going to show you how to waterproof our canopy, because our canopy actually leaked. So maybe we'll learn something together on that. Not going to be an episode next week. It's Thanksgiving. Spend some time with your family. One thing that's required for camping in the rain is a good relationship.